Welcome back to a bigger update video today. Of course, we will make a small look on AMC and GME, but mainly we will look at all other stocks we have today. We will make a little update on Tesla. Because of the earnings drop yesterday, we will look at C3I. We will make a little update on BYND, Weber, Trump Media, SAVA, FFAI, Bed Bath & Beyond. It will be a little bit longer today. If you're interested, just stay tuned. As always, I'm using the Fractal Method. I will link the explanation video at the end of the video, or you just search for the playlist Fractal Method on my channel. Okay, well, then let's jump into AMC. So for AMC today, just a tiny update. We will just look what we have done in the last days. For the big update for 1 part, 2 part squeeze, price targets, and then I will link the full story video at the end of the video. Today we just make a little update what we have done. So let's look. So, and sadly, as I already said, AMC doesn't like double buttons. Yeah? And this here was a triple button. And again, this was a clearly sign that we will drop under it. And we did. So, what most likely will happen next? Well, this is a button we want to see. Yeah, 1 wick down, immediately bounce. The thing is, today is Thursday. If this is the bottom, yeah, we will start doing now our higher low. Yeah, means we're not breaking 133, fall back down again, holding this bottom, this higher low, and after that, we're doing the A pullback squeeze. Yeah. The alternative is this isn't holding, and because of it's Thursday, we will fall to, in my opinion, 111-ish till Friday. And this would be our bottom. The thing is, I know a lot of people are bullish for next week. I have to say, with this movement this week, I see 0 chance for next week. Yeah, we need the higher low. And if we're not doing this higher low today and tomorrow, I mean, if we do that today and tomorrow, okay, fine. Then I give AMC a 20% chance for next week. If not, I give AMC 0 chance for next week. 0. Yeah, we need this higher low. Yeah, as I'm always saying in the last videos, I'm okay with if we're not doing this and just jumping over that and squeeze, but I want to see this higher low. I'm absolutely, we're not jumping this. We are not squeezing from the B. Yeah. Never did. Not in 2021, not in 2024, not in 2025. For timelines, let's say this is the bottom, or till Friday, we're doing 10-11. Okay, doesn't matter really. Yeah. Then, if we are quick, all next week, we're doing this higher low and ending next Friday somewhere here. Then I see a chance for the 2nd week of March to do the squeeze. If not, and we're still doing the A and A bar pullback, then this would be 2nd or 3rd week of March. And then you have a pretty good chance, if you're ending in the 2nd or the 3rd week at this level here, that you see till end of March the squeeze. Yeah? It's just about how quick are we doing these landmarks. The only other alternative I have is, if this is the bottom or 10-11 is the bottom, that we don't do the higher low, but we do the A and the 0.5 pullback. That's also okay. Then we're jumping the higher low, but we do this. Yeah? In that case, I'm also okay with if we doing this next week, but I have to say most likely this will take 2 weeks, and then we go. Whatever we are doing, we need this and this, or we need only this without this, or we need only this. But one of these two things we need. Yeah. In my tracking, there is absolutely no chance, and I could be wrong. It's my tracking, only my believing. But in my tracking, we never squoze from the V, and we won't do it. Let's see. Okay, next one is Jimmy. Also for Jimmy, for the full story, how the next squeeze could look like for price targets, I will link the big update video at the end of the video. Today, we just look what we have done in the last week. Here we have two versions. I mean, without the version that we knife from here and go to 17, which I still don't believe yet. But for this, we have two versions. A bullish one and a kind of bearish one. The bullish version just means our bottom is in since November 2025. We did a wonderful higher low. We broke out of the trend line. And this is just our small a. Yeah? This small a would be in the bullish version also finished. Bounce at the 0.5. What will happen next? The thing is, we got the V, we already broke out. In that case, we would go now up to our B, which should be something around 28-ish, to a 0.5 pullback, go up to our C. Our C is our big A. And this big A is important because it will be the last point, the last pullback before the squeeze. And this pullback would go from our A, which should be around 29 to 35-ish, 0.5 or 0.618 pullback. And in the moment this pullback is finished, AMC, because of sync, should be also finished, and we go. Yeah? For time-wise, and that's the shitty part, I also think that this at least take 1 to 3 weeks. There's, in my tracking, no case that we're doing that next week. The bearish case for this is this here. And I really have to say it's more my main tracking right now. What does that mean? Because some people always want to hear my main opinion. This is my main opinion. That means our bottom in November is still there, everything fine. From November till December, this was just our small higher low. And right now, we're doing the last big higher low. But this last big higher low isn't finished yet. In that case, what we are doing right now is just M peak. We will reject here, fall under 22.79, come up again, would make our T, still rejecting this trend line, and will finish this higher low around 21.17. And when we did that, then we can go to our A, last pullback, and squeeze. I like this more. Just to say that, if you break 25.50, this alternative is dead. Simply as that, and we're doing the bullish case. If we reject here, so for me, if you break under 23.18, I tell you, we will do this. So let's see. Also for time frame, I would say that this section here easily take 1 week. And this section here would easily take then 1-2 weeks. So in the fastest way, last week of March, no financial advice. We just have to wait for landmarks. Right now, doesn't matter if bullish or bearish, it's no entry for me. Sadly, we're still not at the finish line. Close, but not yet. Okay, next one is Tesla. So for Tesla, a quick summary. Tesla started its IPO in its V, in its bottom. From there till June 2019 was just our A without a 0.5 pullback. from June 2019 till January 2023, it was our big macro B. Also here, if we take from our A bottom to our B peak, the 0.5, it teased us that it will go to the 0.5 as it should, but Tesla has this behavior that it always tease you that it go to the 0.5 for the B pullback, but never did it. Never do it. Yeah, it's always doing that in the macro, micro, and tiny micro tracking. For the future, we are still looking for our big macro C, wherever this is. So we are right now in the move to our big macro C. So if we go one step lower in our tracking, in our micro tracking, we are now in the move to our big C. And for the near future, we are in the move to our middle B. For this, if our bottom of our C move is January 2023, we did from January till April 2024, our nice high low. From April 2024 till April 2025, we did our middle A. Here, we did a nice and sweet 0.5 pullback and bounce. And now we are in the move to our middle B. And this move here, which I expect, is something like June 2020. This move here. I expect this move for the rest of the year. Yeah. So we are not in our, this is our target. Yeah, something around 700 to whatever. This is our middle B. Now we go again into one step lower into tracking, means A, B, C for our middle B. And this is this here. Go a little bit lower. For this, if our bottom was April 2025, we did already our nice high or low. Then we went up to our little a. Here also from our bottom to our A, nice 0.5 pullback and bounce. And from there, from June 2025 till December 2025, this was our B peak. Also here, if we take from the bottom from our A to our B, it's not a 0.5 pullback. Again. But I still think that this B pullback is finished. So before we look at this little section here, next move is the move to our C, which is our middle B. So if you look at this, here is our B pullback. So in my opinion, here on February 5th February 5th was our bottom. And I said already in the last videos, this, since 2 weeks I think, this is our higher low of our B pullback. And I said here, we have to go down to at least 370.97. Yeah, 397. Yeah. And we perfectly did. Yeah. I also said there's a good chance if we break this that we gap fill here, the gap between 394 and 389. We little bit went into it, but we bounced. So I don't. That there's a, for me, this gap won't be filled yet. Yeah. So what will happen now? Well, we had our finish of our higher low. We did a little higher low. We broke out, went over the T line. So this peak here is just our tiny A. Yeah? Over T line, under M line, A rejection. So what most likely will happen till Friday is we're doing a 0.5, 0.618 pullback for our A. Means this was already our lower high. I mean, that's the 30-minute chart, just saying. We will go down, M, T, and bounce 407 or bounce 403. Whatever. If we are Friday in this section here, I maybe go in some no financial advice, in some calls, because I would really expect next week is already next month. Whatever news it will be, we see boom boom candles. This look fucking great. Let's see. Okay, next one is C3I. So for C3I, I don't know anymore if I already, I think I showed it already. With this drop yesterday in earnings, the 24-25%, the old tracking is completely dead. Yeah, completely. C3I is no symmetry play anymore or anything else. It's just one clear fractal. So I redone everything. But this is clearly showing there are only two versions, the bullish and the bearish. But to say that, doesn't matter if you're tracking the bullish or the bearish version, both should go up till 2027. I will say. So we start with the, show it. We start with the bullish version. I just say the bearish version is my main tracking, but we start with the bullish version. The bullish version means IPO was the run to its C, tiny lower high, small m, big T. Means that our drop yesterday on earnings was our all-time low, our bottom. Yeah? Means that from now on till January, February 2027, we will go up. We will go up and our peak will be maximum $27. We won't break this trend line, fall down again, I would say June 2027, form our higher low. And then our next target is A, around 50, B, over 70, 77. And then the only question is breaking all-time highs or not. So still, even as for the bullish tracking, upside till next year, January, February. The bearish version is this here. And I really have to say, this is more my main tracking. Why? Just because this tiny M here, we saw that in so many other stocks. I don't like that. The L, the lower high, can be tiny. Normally the M is big. Yeah, and so the T has also be big. So for the bearish version, the only thing which is changing, first of all, your M and your T. And second of all, the all-time low is not in yet. But even with the bearish version, you would go up till January, February 2027. It's the same like the bullish version. The only difference to the bullish version is you will reject here. You will reject at $27. This will be your T. And next year you will find your all-time low. Then you have to do your higher low still. And then your next target for A is 27, B 50-ish. Yeah. I mean, that will take time. But this is absolutely beautiful clear tracking. And maybe no financial advice. I mean, I don't know how the options would look like. I think they should be very down with this pullback right now. But it could also be a good share play. Yeah, till February, till $30 from $7. It's not bad. Okay. Next is BYND. So, for the summary for BYND, it started its IPO. It around the C. Nice lower high, endpoint, T point. For the bullish tracking, October 2025 was our absolute low. And since then, we are trying to finish this big high low. In the moment this is finished, our next target is A, which should be around over $15 to $25-ish. I still think this should be reachable till end of March. Then 0.5 pullback up to our B, over $50, 0.5 pullback. Then the only question is, are we breaking all-time highs or not? So, is this higher low, what we are doing now, finished or not? And here we have, in my opinion, only two versions. Yeah, I mean, maybe three, the third version is just we are not holding levels, we break down from here, new all-time low, whatever. Yeah, not thinking that, but it's still an alternative. If we're not looking at that, we only have two versions left. The absolute bullish version means this in February 2026 was our absolute V. And since then, we are just in accumulation zone, or however you call it in English, means this fractal is waiting for the impulse to absolutely go. Because what this, and this is just one little higher low after another higher low. Yeah? Means we are right now at the decision zone. Yeah? Which would mean for the absolute bullish version, we break out of this and we go. The only alternative I see right now, we're rejecting this trend line again and doing this. Tomorrow, because this is a 1 hour chart, Friday, and have the next chance next week to do something stupid. Yeah. We're in decision zone. We maybe this is just a big higher low, yeah, and we still have to gap fill this at 65 cents. There's still a gap, but as we saw in Tesla, we don't have to do that. But this stock right now, next week earnings, maybe that's the catalyst everyone is waiting for. But this stock has so much pressure right now. Whatever we see, we should see a big strong move, up or down. I tending more to up, yeah. But yeah, do something. Just do something. Right now, it looks absolutely fantastic. Let's see. Next one is bull. So for the short summary for bull. Bull started its IPO in its high low. Then massive candles ABC without pullbacks to its C. Lower high, midpoint T. And most likely we have our bottom right now. We will look at that in a second. For our next targets. A around over $10. Pullback. B around 18 or something over $18. And then the only question is, are we going to all-time highs or not? Also here, before we go into micro checking, the only example we have for our A and our B is just two candles to the upside without pullbacks. So if we're not doing the rules one by one with A, pullback B, pullback C, Weber could also do something absolutely fucking stupid. And after this higher low is finished down here, we just see something like this. Yeah, possible. China deal with USA, whatever. So no financial advice. How you would play it. My last prediction in my last videos was that this A should be here in March 20. Because we made a new low, this March 20 isn't holding anymore. And this A, if we're doing the normal rules, should be end of April. So no financial advice. How I would play it, and I'm playing it, play for something safe around 10 for end of April, or June, if you want to be safe. Because if you're rejecting here and really making the A pullback, fine, perfect. If you're doing this, you're still in play. So, what have we done here? So, for transparency, because I said I will always show mistakes in tracking. It doesn't matter if it was my fault or it was just impossible to see, but I will never hide myself. This wasn't really English, but I think you know what I mean. The previous tracking was that this here was our bottom and this was our higher low. Of course, with this drop, this is not higher low. And I mean, other people I watch always say, this was just volatility, it's still higher. No. If you break a higher low, it's not higher low anymore. End of story. Also, what I have to say, I always said AMC, for example, doesn't like double buttons. Yeah? I only looked at that on AMC. Yeah? But if you look here, this was a double button on Weber. this could maybe already have been a sign that this wasn't a V. In exception to this, this was a nice wick and bounce. So this looks really nice for a bottom. Yeah? So what is this now? If this was the bottom, we still, in my opinion, need a higher low. Yeah? In that case, this here was most likely already your top of your higher low of your C. This could be already your lower high. You will go down, M, T, higher low finish. How low would this be? Well, at the 7.86, so $5.60, and then you bounce. This is the 1 hour chart, so this could easily be done today, tomorrow. Yeah. What I'm really looking for is this peak for a end of April around or over $10, if we're not doing something stupid. For levels, just saying, if we're not doing the little higher low, which I expect, but if we just go up from here 2 hour A, everything over 626 is bullish, and I think everything over 698 and the downside is over. Yeah. Do what you want with it, but bull right now, again, looks absolutely fucking bullish. Let's see. Okay, next one is DJT. So for DJT, short summary, also DJT started its IPO in its high low, also like bull, did a massive run without pullbacks A, B, C to its top. Then it did a massive L, massive midpoint, massive T. And in the best case, this was our bottom now. Before we go into micro tracking, what will happen to our next moves? The thing is, we will do a higher low, and then after the higher low, our next A is over 60, our next B over 80, and then the only question is, do we doing all-time highs or not? But, and that's the main point on DJT, if you look at DJT, the runs from the V's and higher lows are always straight candles. Always straight candles. So I really don't expect that we're doing higher low and then A, pullback B, pullback C, because DJT never done this. I expect when the higher low is finished that we just see a straight line. Yeah, could be wrong. Okay. Is the higher low finished? What have we do in the near future? Well, if we look now at this section here, also for transparency, I was tracking this as a perfect higher low. Sadly, because of this drop, it wasn't. Yeah. This time, I really have to say, it looked so perfect. I didn't saw this alternative. Yeah. So also here, because we looked at double buttons on VBBY and AMC, this was a nice wick. Down, instantly bounced. Also, I think we already have the confirmation that this was the bottom, because nice high low under the 788. It's just a tiny one, 786, and bounce. Perfect. Yeah. So next moves for DJT. Well, first of all, this tiny thing down there was just our tiny higher low to confirm that the bottom is in. We still need now a normal small higher low. Max peak for this would be $13. Fall back, holding the higher low, finish. What would happen then? Can we squeeze after we did that? So, as I already said back here, we need still the macro higher low. The macro higher low for this T, this M, this L means a big higher low. But there are two versions. Version 1, with old rules, we have this trend line here. In that case, whenever this is finished, we're starting our big higher low. Yeah, this big higher low isn't allowed to break over $37. Pullback, and in that place here, then the big move comes. For the new rules, because I saw that on many stocks already, if the T is too short to touch this trend line, you're just making a new one from your M to your T. In that case, your big higher low isn't allowed to touch or break to break this trend line. Means this higher low would be at $24. This would be shorter because it's smaller, and then you get the big moves. The thing is this, as you always see, doesn't matter if you're doing a higher low or the big moves. Moves up are always absolutely volatile. So my point is, you could also do just a one candle up here and then slowly grinding down. One candle up here, small grinding down and go. My idea for this stock is, whenever we are finished with this higher low, no financial advice, I would play something like, to play safe to 25-ish, yeah, because you just can get this massive move, and that's already extremely volatile. But what if this small higher low is enough, and you're really doing this after that? If you're rejecting here, fine, you still make money and waiting for this move, or you just break through. And one thing I also have to say, this down here is not a little section for MT or something like that. This is the end of a big fractal. We are not here. We are not here. We are not here. We are right now somewhere here. Yeah. So whatever comes after these higher lows is massive. Yeah. Because a new fractal is starting. It looks interesting. Okay. Next one is SAVA. So our 100% risk play. I even would say more risky than AMC and GME. Bio company searching for Alzheimer or whatever. Why are we looking at this? Just because it's always doing the same. Peak, gap down, sideways, gap up. 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 Okay? You know what I mean. And for our tracking right now, we have peak, gap down, sideways. Yeah? And our gap right now is from 26 to $5. Yeah? So, only thing is, it's really a 100% risk play because we still have an absolutely bearish version. And the absolute bearish version is we would be here. Yeah? Means we gap down, new all-time low. This will most likely take 4 to 6 months. And somewhere end of summer, we have the next chance to gap fill. Just saying. Yeah. And if you play options, they are cheap as fuck because the option chain is completely dead. But I tell you, if you don't get the move to the upside, you won't get out of these options. That's the warning. Okay, for our bullish tracking. We already finished this whole tracking here. Yeah? ABC, LMT, gap down. Bottom would be April 2025. And since then, we are trying to finish this higher low. We have now two versions for this. Except the absolute bearish one where we go to all-time low. I will start with the more bearish version. The more bearish version means that what we did in the last days was just our T-peak. And in that case, we still have to come down to 1.74. And then maybe doing a little high-low, and then you run and gap fill. Yeah? Also to say that before we go to the bullish version, this stock start its main runs always Friday and Monday, pre-market or after hours. Monday only pre-market. If you don't see at latest Monday pre-market something, you won't see anything the rest of the week. You can look it up. Every big move started Friday, Monday. The bullish version for this stock right now is that we already done our T, that this here was already our V under A. We already broke out. This would be our little A over the T line, over the trend line. And the only thing, because it's Thursday, we still have to do till today or Friday, is we have to come down to the 0.5 or 618, break or retest. Means we have to come down to, what is this, 215 or 208. And then we go. So only for me, my personal opinion, if I see us sitting here, Friday market close, I maybe buy a little position for, I don't know, end of April to be safe. I mean, as I said, the contracts aren't costing anything. But I only play this with money, I don't care. But to say this, if we get the move we are tracking, this is a 1000% move. For options, that's a 10,000% move. It would be fucking crazy. Let's see. Next one is Bed Bath & Beyond. It's already some time ago I saw that. I showed it. For Bed Bath & Beyond, 3 versions. We start with the absolutely bearish version. That means in October 2025, this was just our T. We will break down from here, making all-time low, and will take more time. Yeah, that's the absolutely bearish version. Still there, not believing it. For the bullish version, this whole fractal since 2020 was finished on April 2025. And since April 2025, we're just doing our higher low. For the absolute bullish version, means that this higher low is finished. And it is, let me change that. So, it was finished on February 12th, 2026, which also means right now you're just doing your little micro high low if you need it because you're already doing the high low. But your next target is, I would say, July-ish, latest, your A above $15. Most likely $25 because you won't want to touch, break this trend line again, and you need a 0.5 pullback for your A. Then you go to your B, which is over $36, and then the only question is breaking all-time highs or not. To say this, if we're repeating something like 2020, you maybe again don't see the A and B pullback. You just go up. The alternative, the only one without making new all-time lows, is that this peak was your M, and right now you're forming T. That means you will come up to 650, 640. You will reject there and still have to do one lower low. That means you still have to come to 466. And this will be your V. Maybe. Just saying, if you break over 7.71, this alternative is dead and you will go up. If you reject at 639, I tell you, you will go down to 465. Yeah, let's see. But it looks fantastic right now. And it's also a meme stock. Yeah, or not anymore. However, I don't know anymore who is calling meme stocks or not. I mean, I think that the biggest meme stock right now is SPY. How SPY is moving is absolutely crazy. But nobody is saying don't invest in SPY because it's a meme stock. Yeah, blah, blah. Yeah. Stupid news. Okay, and last one is FFAI. So, little summary on FFAI. IPO, C-top, lower high, midpoint, massive T, all-time low. Yeah? Before we go to that, our next targets for rules 1 by 1, our next A would be at 153, our next B at 5,000. Again, you won't see 5,000 without a forward split. If this company isn't doing a forward split, then this line here, 153, is your rejection line. You will come up here, reject, and die. For our normal price targets, our next A is at 4, our next B at 45, and as I said, our C at 153. Again, same as DJT and Bull. Normally, after FFAI did its V, higher low, it just runs. It did it here, it did it in 2024, V, higher low, massive run. Also in the last ones, V, higher low, massive, always. Yeah. So I don't think we will see an A pullback, B pullback, C. FFAI never does that. So was this now the low, the bottom, or not? Well, it has to be. Why do I say that? If we're breaking down from here again, I really say that, my opinion, this company will die. End of story. You have to bounce here, you have to hold here a higher low, or you will delist, or reverse split, yeah, or bought up, or whatever. But it would be bad for shareholders and options. Yeah, you have to bounce here. So if this was the bottom, which it looked, yeah, no double bottom, nice V, perfect. We already did a micro higher low. Yeah, to here. Do you see this? A small, tiny wick under the 786. Perfect. So the small, tiny micro higher low is finished. Can we squeeze now? I don't think so. The thing is, now we need the big higher low. Yeah. For this big higher low, you won't break 90 or $1-ish. Yeah. Fall back again. And after that, you have the chance to absolutely go crazy. Yeah. Of course, now people will say, no, don't need that. We can squeeze. My problem, I always can repeat myself. FFAI never did that in the past. It always doing V, higher low, squeeze. V, higher low, squeeze. V, higher low, squeeze. Always. If you're not telling me we're doing something different, okay. I can only look what I see. So I still think we do this little higher low and then we go. To say this, of course, this is already a little micro higher low. Technically, you did it. The only problem I have is we didn't saw the higher low for this T. Yeah, and this would be just this here. That's why I say most likely we still have to do the higher low before we squeeze. And if you look back, this was a higher low, this was a higher low. Yeah, this right now is nothing. Yeah, but I will track it further, and it looks interesting. Yeah, and I think contracts, even far out contracts, are completely dead, so it should be cheap. Even for shares, it should be cheap. Yeah, as long as we're holding this bottom. If we're not holding this bottom, I think this company will die. And it's a shitty electric car company, so yeah. Okay. For the community vicious stocks, I will put up another video at the weekend. It would be just way too long if I would put the other 3 stocks also in it. I don't forget it. It will be in the updates video on the weekend. For the videos with the full story for AMC and G, I will put it back here. The explanation video for the method will be here. The playlist here. And of course, if you liked it, leave a like. And if you want to see more, there's the button for the abo. Let's see what happens this week. See ya.